Hello and welcome to this CitizenCon 2948 special edition of the Stanton News. In this episode, we will be looking into Drake Interplanetary's first entrance into the capital class segment with an attack carrier they call the Kraken. The Kraken is the first non-military capital ship to enter the market and Drake's largest ship to date. It spans an impressive 270 meters long, 104 meters wide, and 64 meters tall, making it just over 30 meters longer than an Idris and as tall as a javelin. With this size, Drake certainly hasn't put any of it to waste, housing 4 small-sized ships and 2 medium-sized ships on its external landing pads, and space for a further 2 small ships in its 2 internal hangars. With all this, Drake has also managed to fit a Dragonfly bay at the rear of the ship. The internal hangars on this ship are not just for storing your craft. Drake has offered a full range of refueling, rearmament, and repair facilities in each hangar. Drake didn't stop there. With a cargo capacity 6.5 times that of the Drake Caterpillar, it can haul a massive 3,792 SU, housed in its 2 large cargo bays located on the lower decks of the ship. All this turns what Drake calls an attack carrier into more like a mobile operating base, capable of long-range missions and self-sustaining operations. To defend itself, Drake armed the Kraken with 5 man turrets, 4 remote turrets, with a total of 2 size 8 weapon mounts, 4 size 6 weapon mounts, and 4 size 5 weapon mounts. This is certainly one ship you do not want to get close to in a fight. But all this has had many senior enforcement officers questioning, should this be allowed to be in the hands of just anyone? Drake publicly stated that the Kraken would only be sold to individuals and organizations after extensive background checks, and that it was not making, quote, a flying fortress for the bad guys. But many believe, just like much of the Drake lineup, those who hide in the shadows will be very keen to get their hands on this ship. And some believe, within a few years, our galaxy could be turned back in time to when pirates ruled the seas on Earth. Drake has not released too much information just yet on the Kraken, so here at Stanton News, we tried to do as much investigating to find as much as we could about Drake's new ship. Starting with the layout of this ship, on the top, and by far its most obvious feature, is the main landing pads, with space for 4 small-sized ships and 2 medium-sized ships, each of which are capable of landing anything up to a constellation. Overlooking the landing area is the main bridge. This main bridge is split over what looks to be 3 levels. In the photo we have released from Drake, we can see what appears to be the main pilot seat located on the higher deck in the bridge, with the rest of the crew stations located on the lower levels. Close to the main bridge houses the captain's quarters, which is positioned 1 floor below the main bridge. No information yet has been released on what facilities the captain's quarters will contain. Towards the rear of the ship, we find the Dragonfly Hangar. Drake has not stated yet how many Dragonflies you'll be able to store in the Kraken, but looking at the official photo, there seems to be at least 2 storage bays, with a possible of more hidden out of shot of this picture. The Dragonflies enter this small hangar from an entrance mounted on the top of the ship, with pilots having to fly their Dragonflies down into the hangar to store them. Just below the Dragonfly Hangar sits the main engineering bay, which should house all the main power systems. Schematics online state that the Drake Kraken will be equipped with 2 capital-sized power plants, coolers, and shield generators, with 2 capital-sized fuel tanks and 4 capital-sized fuel intakes. Compare this to the Idris though, and you start to see that although this ship is slightly bigger and can carry more ships, the Idris makes the Drake Kraken start to look like a ship that has had some corners cut. No surprises there. Where it could beat the Idris though, and other similar sized ships, is with speed. Although no official max speeds on the Kraken has yet been released, The Kraken is equipped with 9 capital-sized main thrusters. This could mean the Kraken could be a fairly speedy craft for its size, and could help it pull away from many of its competitors. The Kraken also has 6 VTOL capital-class sized thrusters, allowing for the Kraken to land and take off on any planet, turning this ship into a mobile base deployable anywhere. Located just below the main landing bays is the crew quarters. Drake has stated that the maximum crew of the Kraken is 10. This would account for the 5 man turrets and the 5 stations on the bridge seen in photos. Drake, however, has not mentioned how many beds will be available in the crew quarters, and if any of these beds will be available for the crews of each landed ship. The crew quarters is attached to the upper central corridor, which looks to start at the Dragonfly Hangar at the rear of the ship and spans the length of the ship and ends at the forward man turret. Towards the front of the ship are 2 docking collars located on what looks like a design inspired by the Cutlass. These are located on the left hand and right hand side of the ship and appear to attach to a central staircase which links the upper and lower corridor. The lower corridor goes from this staircase and runs the length of the ship towards the number 1 cargo hold. It is not clear yet what rooms are connected to this lower corridor. Drake also felt the need to install an internal tram within the Kraken. There's no word yet on what its exact use will be, but we believe it could help in the rapid deployment of crew towards the forward part of the ship. There is no question about the impressiveness of this ship, just about who might be behind the wheel of it. We leave you today with the official promotional video supplied by Drake to us. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again in another episode of the Stanton News.
Stop right there. This claim is ours. I'll make this easy for you. Leave now, or we'll kill you. I'm happy either way.
The time has come for something new. Something to change the game. When seeking fortunes at the fringes of civilization, you need someone you can trust. In this age of uncertainty, it's time to take back your strength. It's time to release the Kraken. Drake Interplanetary. We got your back.